So one of the biggest oversights that I see, especially with newer producers, is something that will single-handedly improve your productions, and that is rough mixing. Today I want to talk about what rough mixing actually is, how it's going to drastically improve your productions, and what's actually important to pay attention to when doing your own rough mixes. And stick around to the end of the video because I will talk about how rough mixing really improves the mixing process overall, whether you're mixing it yourself or not. What is up, guys? Alex from Manic Creates here. I'm an audio engineer, mixer, and producer who's been working in the professional music industry for over a decade. And I'm here to help you make music you can be proud of. So first off, what actually is rough mixing? Rough mixing is a preliminary representation of the different tracks and elements within a production. This is an opportunity for the producer and or the artist to hear everything that they've recorded in some kind of a context. Basically, this is just helping show everybody that's involved what's actually in the production and what the song sounds like with all of those production elements. And when it actually comes to the final mixing stage, the mixer can then build on the rough mix, the already laid out blueprints for the song, to then expand it and be creative and make it that much better. Now, if you're thinking, okay, that sounds great, but like, where in the process does the rough mix go? I record everything and then send it to a mixer. Where do I rough mix in that? Now, many people say that the rough mixing stage is after recording, before you actually send it away to a mixer. And well, yes, that is the kind of official rough mixing stage to get it prepped before sending it to a mixer. I am a firm believer you should actually be incrementally rough mixing during your production and actually setting time aside every so often to kind of hone in all of the different elements that you've added. Think about it this way. Every time you record something new, it's typically the loudest thing in the mix. Then the engineer or producer has to spend time and put it down so that it's somewhat in context of the whole mix. That's kind of stage one of the rough mixing. Just making it so you can hear every other element around the guitar that you just recorded. But I truly believe, and this has been proven to me in some of the biggest productions that I've been a part of, that to make the best productions, you need to sit down periodically with the full intent of manipulating the newest instruments that you've added to hear how they fit in context in the song. And that leads me to the next point, which is, why do you do a rough mix? And there's a few different reasons for this. First off, like I said, you can actually hear what's going on. You can understand what you've added into the production and where it sits, how it affects the arrangement, how it affects the feeling. This helps with showing holes in the production or in the arrangement of the song so that you can fill them in with different elements that you might still have to record. It also helps spark new ideas as to how to build up the chorus more or how to make the verse a little bit different. Second, it helps you and the artist feel more comfortable with how the song is turning out. You're not waiting for mixing to solve all of the problems that you're hearing, so you can feel more confident with where you stand with the production. This also really helps with players and vocalists especially, that they can sing better over a track that actually sounds like something. Third, if you're taking time to rough mix as you go along, you actually understand what every single element in your production is adding to the production. And this can help you make decisions about the different elements. Is the acoustic guitar supposed to be big, mono, and in the front? Or should it be doubled and thinned out and panned to the sides to hold more of a rhythm and be more of a background part? And finally, it helps everybody involved get on the same page in terms of where the production is. The mixer will understand what you're hearing so they can build on that. The artist, who might not understand the different layering that you're doing, can actually hear what you're hearing in your head. And if there are funders or record labels involved, they can also hear a context of what you're doing. So what do you actually pay attention to? You might be sitting there going, that sounds great, but I don't know how to mix. But a rough mix is exactly that. It is a rough representation of what you're hearing. So even with the most basic of mixing knowledge, you can get a good enough rough mix to portray your vision well enough at its most basic level. These are the things to pay attention to that need to come across in the rough mix. 1, the basic volume of each instrument and each track. Is it a feature or is it a background part? 2, the panning. Where do you envision this element? Let's say you tracked a vocal with a double and a triple. Do you see this as a Lana Del Rey sound where it's very mono and they're all in the center? Or do you see it as a big wide array of vocals where the lead is in the center and the double and triple are panned hard left and right? Number 3, reverbs and effects. Is this supposed to be reverb heavy or is it supposed to be dry? Is this element supposed to be really distorted or is it not? And 4, the basic EQ. Is this sound supposed to be thinned out or is it supposed to be full bodied? The end goal is to try and help get your vision across for the production. What elements are supposed to be features and what elements are supposed to be background? What part of the songs are supposed to be big and what part of the songs are supposed to be small? And remember, this is not set in stone. The mixer will take this and build upon it, but it gives them a starting point for the direction of your track. Now, as I said, how does this actually improve the mixing process for both you and the mixer? The rough mix is a stepping stone from recording to final mix, so the mixer can actually expand on it instead of just getting a whole pile of tracks and having to sort through it and then do 20 revisions of notes just to get it to where the artist thought that their song was before they even sent it away to mixing. When you don't rough mix, this makes the mixer have to struggle to just get to your vision, let alone expand on your vision. But when you provide a rough mix, they understand where each element is supposed to go and can get to your vision faster to then allow them to be creative and expand on it even further, giving you a better mix overall, where you get to actually use the mixer's skill and creativity. Now, if you're interested in the best practices to do when actually getting a session ready to send to a mixer, what to send them, what not to send them, how to label everything and organize everything to make the mixing process that much easier, let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, because I will be making a video all about mix prepping and getting something ready to send to a mixer. But that is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you in the next one. Until then, always be creating.